Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is no secret that Guilty Gear Strive is a game filled with many characters and many annoying moves. And how you understand and deal with these moves will directly translate to how much enjoyment you get out of the game. And so today, I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys a little bit of a helping hand. Today is the first edition of potentially many, because there's a ton of moves that are really annoying. You probably can't cram them all into one video, of how to deal with 5 annoying Guilty Gear Strive moves. Now, here is disclaimer number 1. These moves that I'm going to be showing off in these videos, they technically have counterplay to the counterplay. We're going to get into that, but that is essentially what Guilty Gear Strive works off of. You have an option, I have a solution to the option, you can have a solution to the option of the option, and then it creates this mind game. The thing is, a lot of people don't even understand the first layer of that solution to the many different options, and so they kind of just get run over by things they really shouldn't. And so this video is to equip you with the tools of understanding. I'm giving you the knowledge, shout out Cy Lopez, of these situations and of these moves so that you can make an educated decision based on what is going on. With all that being said, if you like content like these, please consider to like, share, subscribe, turn the post notification bells on, check your boy out, twitch.tv/GrandmastaJ. You know the deal, you know the drill. Now let's get into it. The first move we're going to be talking about today is none other than Solar Plexus's Bandit Bringer. I see a lot of people get completely pub stomped by this move, including my wife. She kind of really has a hard time dealing with it, and rightfully so. It's a very obnoxious move, and you can't even really punish it more so than you could just deal with the situation afterwards. Because at worst, this move is going to be -4, which some characters, for example, like I think not Milia, but Abba and Elfelt, they can jab punish it. But if you don't have a 4-frame jab, you're kind of cooked, right? Which leads me to tip number 1. Always stand block this move. You see, the move actually has a variance of frame data. Think of it as a dive kick style move, which means, for example, in this exact situation, round start, you see how Kai, he's stand blocking it, it's -4. We'll take that exact same situation. If you were to crouch block it, it only makes it -2, because the deeper down Soul actually hits the active frames of the move, the more plus it's going to be. This makes it way more obnoxious to deal with if you're not completely point blank in his face and you freaking insta block it and then you get to throw him, which is counterplay number 1. Technically, you can insta block and throw it, right? Because when you insta block it, it puts him really close to you, and if you stand and insta block it, then he's almost always going to be -2. There's very few instances where he'll be -1, but you can technically insta block and throw it. You're probably not going to, which leads me to the other things. For Bandit Bringer, it's not necessarily the move that you're trying to punish, you're just trying to punish the situation after it, which is as follows. Oftentimes Soul players like to go for a button. Usually they would go for this into like 2K, or they like to go to this into backdash, or they like to go into this into DP. This is where it's very important for you as the player to know what your opponent wants to do, right? And this kind of just comes from playing out the match. You try to press a button the first time, see how they respond to that. Are they a backdasher? Are they a masher? Are they a DPer? Sometimes you can gain a lot of information by just sitting there. You see them do that, and then they go mash DP, and then you're able to just punish the DP. Or you see them go for this option and then they backdash, right? And so you know, okay, I'm going to press a button, usually my slash button, in order to punish their backdash, or in order to punish them trying to press a button. And so next time you see it, you're gonna do something like that, and all of a sudden you get to blow up the Soul. Very nice. And then on top of that, next time he does this, you probably know that he's gonna go for a DP because he didn't like that too often, and so he's gonna try to teach you a lesson, and so you kind of go a little back and forth. The other option that I'm a big fan of is just get the frick out of there, man. Like, don't even interact with it. Just don't interact with him at all. If you find yourself on the losing end of the guessing game situation, you can just jump, you can just get out. Like, he's minus, bro. Like, he's not gonna be able to punish you. And then the more times that you try to jump as an option, the more times he's gonna probably do something like so stupid and try to overextend and try to jump with you to like air throw you or something like that. And then you just stay on the ground and then watch him jump and then just foot and kill him for it, or just run underneath and then throw him out of position. So yeah, do that. Next up on the list, we have Queen Dizzy's Ice Spike. I feel like it is way more important to talk about this move, especially since it got one of the greatest buffs that any move has ever gotten. I think they increased the active frames from like 14 frames to like, what is that, 36 frames? This is a very common situation that I see people get blown up by, where they get hit with Michael Sword. Hold on, Michael Sword. and then they wake up into the meaty. Brother, it's meaty now, okay? It's meaty now, which is kind of crazy. So on wake up, you have to block the move. Many people, they just like wake up. They don't know that it's meaty. They're like, oh, the ice floor must have whiffed, right? Wrong, buddy. It's 36 active frames. Another thing that I see people get blown up by a lot is Dizzy puts the ice spike on the floor and then they walk up just a little. They're like, oh, it didn't hit me. I guess I'm good. No, brother, you're not good. Don't do nothing, bro. In fact, the most dangerous thing about ice spike is not blocking it, because if me as the Kai player see that Dizzy goes for ice spike and I try to shoot a fireball, there are instances where, because I'm buffering, like when you buffer something, sometimes you kind of inch a little bit forward, you inch a tiny bit, and boom, you touch it, and then you get friggin' frozen, and then she runs her game plan, and then you're cooked. And so tip number one, and this sounds stupid, but many of you people don't do it: respect the ice spike. If you see this thing anywhere near you, do not try to interact with it. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to jump over it, okay? Like, just don't. Just don't, because it is so much worse for you to get frozen, for her to then freaking freeze you, do one of these, knock you down, all of a sudden you're eating a 50-50. It is so much better to just wait. Just wait another half second. Let it go. The other thing that is very, very important for you to understand is that if Dizzy were to actually make you block the move, not meaty, it is actually super minus. It is minus 12. And if she then follows that up with the ice floor, right? If she follows that up in the ice floor, she's minus 36. The reason why this is relevant to you is because even when she is full screen, it is important for you to understand your options in order to punish her, to get just a little bit more damage. And in some people's situations, for example, like Unica or like Venom, they can completely punish the ice floor entirely. Unica, she can just totally shoot Dizzy on the ice floor, make the ice floor trigger, and then she runs up because she is now plus 80. Venom can do the exact same thing, but it's important for you to understand, if you block the ice spike normally, not meaty, two different things, right? Meaty is if she fucking does Michael Sword and then you're waking up. Most of the time she's safe when doing that, but if you block it normally and she tries to get away with ice spike, then you should definitely push your advantage. Even something as simple as running up and blocking, she is minus 34, yeah, minus 36 or something like that. You can get at least halfway and then start drifting with the ice in order to be able to block whatever the frick she wants. She can't force fireball, she can't force projectiles if you actually press your advantage even just a little bit in order to make her like have to guess in the mid-range. And again, if you're full screen and you didn't block it, don't be like, oh frick, G Willikers, Batman, I guess she didn't hit me, so I guess I'm gonna throw a fucking fireball, and then you get frozen and then you die, okay? Don't let that happen to you. After Michael Sword, blocking on wake up. If you don't block it, don't move. And if she tries to chuck down ice floor, at least run up a little bit. Okay? All right. Everybody good? Got it? On to the next one. Next, we have Slayer. Now, I already made an entire video talking about his whole dandy step and his options out of dandy step, but this one's going to be much simpler. We are going to be talking about his Mappa Hunch. This move completely defines the character. This move is incredibly obnoxious. And how do you deal with it? You might be asking. Whenever you're fighting Slayer and you're specifically trying to deal with this move, think of it as if there are now 3 zones on the screen. There is the, well, I'm full screen and it's going to completely whiff, and so therefore I'm able to whiff punish him zone. There is the, I really don't want to be here danger zone, where if he spaces it out properly, he's actually going to be +2, sometimes +3. And then there is the punish zone, where if he does it way too close to you, then he's actually going to be -2, and therefore you can always throw punish him. Now, of course, you can always try to 6P this move. I put a big emphasis on try because it is very hard to react to this move, but you can try to see, you can try to preemptively 6P this move and completely beat it outright, but I wouldn't really bet on it. And so the biggest, most important thing to understand when you're dealing with Slayer is that you need to know where he's at. Which zone is he in? Is he in the zone where he's going to whiff? Is he in the zone where it's going to be anywhere from -1 into +3? Or is he in a zone where no matter where he does it, he's going to be -2, and therefore you're able to get a punish off him? And so punishing this move actually requires a lot of just understanding of neutral. Not really a lot, but just think of it like if you see him kind of like backdashing in order to get into a range like this, or he's completely full screen and you see him do something like this, right? Just know he's trying to get in a position where he's actually going to be plus when using the move. And so it is up to you to actually run closer to him, just a little bit closer. You don't want to be super close to him if you're trying to specifically punish it, but just run closer to him and put him in a range where like he can no longer gauge gauge whether or not he's going to be plus, because the closer you are, the easier it is for you to actually get this throw punish. All of a sudden, it's your turn. The move is specifically designed to be corny, annoying, stupid, dumb, really good. But just know that the effectiveness of the move is directly related to how well you are at being at the specific range to be able to punish it. And as soon as you take that tool out of Slayer's arsenal, all of a sudden, it feels like he no longer is able to really do anything. Now, that's not entirely true. He can do things like Dandy Step, but we're just talking about Mappa Hunch, so just do that. TLDR, be close, be closer. Not that close, but be closer than you otherwise would, because you don't want him doing stuff like this. And then you die, okay? You don't want that. You don't want that at all. For the next character, we have Bedman and freaking error, whatever the error 5A, error 5C. I don't know. I don't care. This move right here, it is very, very annoying. And what's even more annoying is watching people completely get away with using it all the time, where in places that they really shouldn't. What do I mean by that? Well, one of the most common areas that you see Bedman use this move is after 2H, right? 2H, they're close. They think, oh, I can completely go, I can go for this move. No, the freak you can't. Every single part of 2H, right? I don't think it matters how spaced you are. Every single part of 2H, except for like the complete tip edge of the spacing, is punishable by just pressing a button, right? And so for starters, every time you're blocking this move, you should always be slightly mashing. When I say slightly, I mean just like slightly mashing your jab button in order to prevent him from getting away with free turns. Like, and I swear on everything, as soon as you just do this, the move becomes way worse. Now, it's still a really good move, but Bedman players now actually have to use it in a place that is fair, which they hate. They hate doing that. So it's like, just do that, please. The same thing goes for if he does 5H, but one thing I will say is that now we're getting to the danger zone. You see, this move has a pretty massive hitbox, right? And as soon as you get hit by it, right, he just gets a full combo, and you really don't want that happen. You really don't want that to happen. But at the same time, the ranges of which he is safe doing it are also ranges of which he's going to whiff. And so a lot of the times Bedman players are banking on the fact that you are like going to want to take your turn. And so therefore they're able to get what is known as a spacing trap. However, if he whiffs the move, then he's like minus 36 or something like that. So then you could just take your turn. And so another piece of counterplay is to actually just faultless defense a lot of Bedman's block strings, because then it makes it very difficult for Bedman, even if he does things like 2H, it makes it very difficult for him to even land the move, and therefore he has to go for more riskier things like that, in which case you can then just start freaking jabbing him up, because that stuff is not real. Same thing for his sweep. Do not let him get away with things like sweep into this move. Don't let him get away with it. Another piece of advice is just fucking leave, bro. Just leave. Just freaking up back. There is not an instance, unless he's like very, very close. There's not an instance where he's actually able to catch you, because it's only +3. And so unless, again, like as we just saw, unless he's in close slash range, right, where he's actually able to catch your jump frames, if he's anywhere further than that, right, just fucking leave, dude. Just leave, man. Or you can play the will I won't I 6P game, because oftentimes whenever he does it, it leaves him at far slash range, and therefore you're able to just do 6P. And then if you try to go for 6P, then he will need to go for something like 2S in order to beat the 6P, in which case we're going back to option 1, where you just get the frick up out of there. Now you're gone. Now you're out of there. TLDR, if he's close, mash 5P. Okay, just mash 5P or 2P or 2K, anything like that, because he is never able to cancel into it safely from any of his moves at all, unless of course he has errors, which I mean that's a whole different discussion in itself. But 2, even if you do block the move, just leave, bro. Just leave. Just sometimes get out, or you know, if he's point blank, sometimes you gotta hold that, but oftentimes just leave, bro. You really don't gotta. You don't gotta sit there. It is time to talk about number 5, the last character that you unfortunate motherfuckers keep getting hit by. We are talking about Eddie's Pierce. Now, so very often I see so many people block both hits of this move, and it drives me crazy. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's a gap. There's a gap between the first and the second hit. that you can jab 5p on. This is almost always the case, even from like a very far range such as that, right? Unless you're hitting it at the very, very edge, right? Where it kind of hits at a decently plus, unless you're hitting at the very, very tip of it, almost always you are able to just jab and interrupt this. Now, Zato players do have an answer to it, where at certain ranges, at certain ranges, they are able to go into drill, or even better than that, they're actually able to punish the jab with a 5H, and because of the new buffs, he's able to go into command grab, and he does get Zato back, or he does get Eddie back, and then he goes back in the same situation. But you should be jabbing anyway. Because here's the thing, oftentimes I see you guys not go for the jab at all whatsoever. Also, at any range, he can go for shield, which is like, I'm not gonna lie, super cringe. You can do things like that, which is like really, really annoying. But once you recognize that he's going for more of these, oh, I'm going to counter your counter of the counter moves, then you can just go for, once again, option A or option B, which is just to hold up back, bro. Just to get the foot out of dodge, man. Because if he goes for the drill, you could just jump right over it, bro. You could just jump straight over the freaking drill. Or you can like you just make the 5H not hit, and then like you're good, bro. Then you're good. Just like whatever. You gotta eat a little bit of a mix. It's fine. It's whatever. Another very specific thing is that if you know that he's going to go for drill, you can actually just press far slash and then punish him entirely, because if he's close enough, then you can actually hit Zato and then get a full punish. So that's pretty cool. But please stop just getting completely blown up by him just doing Pierce. Please stop respecting this move entirely, because the more you respect this move, the stronger Zato becomes. So please start jabbing it. And as soon as he starts punishing your jab, just start up backing or pressing forward slash or just like any other option, right? But at least start the this is like you need to start the conversation in order for him to know that the conversation is going somewhere different. Anyways, that's gonna do it for you, boy. Just a few tips and tricks to help you out to hopefully not get blown up by any of these moves. Now again, this is not necessarily a how to completely counter these moves, because again, these moves are like very, very strong, and so therefore they don't have any direct counters. But hopefully this gives you a bit more nuance to actually start the conversation of will I, won't I do X, Y, and Z to force them to do another move, and therefore you're not just getting blown up by the exact same option. And even better, if your opponent doesn't know the counterplay to your counterplay, then they just get completely blown up and then you take the round. Very nice. Anyways, if you like content like these, once again, please consider subscribing to the channel. Support your boy. I've been working very hard on these videos. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.